Generating traffic and sales can be a challenge for online merchants. But selling on the Walmart Marketplace puts your products in front of millions of customers who shop on Walmart.com. And right now, sellers who join Walmart Marketplace can save up to 50% on referral and fulfillment fees for the first 90 days. So get started today. Head over to marketplace.walmart.com/savings. That's marketplace.walmart.com/savings.
Today's podcast is sponsored by SLI Systems, providers of intelligent site search and navigation solutions. Learn more at sli-systems.com and listen to their interviews at ecommercepodcast.com. Welcome to E-Commerce Conversations, a weekly podcast focusing on e-commerce topics featuring interviews with prominent people in the e-commerce space.
Well, welcome to E-Commerce Conversations by Practical E-Commerce. My name is Kerry Murdock. Our topic today is high-performing e-commerce sites. We wonder why some e-commerce sites excel and why others don't excel. To help us understand why this is, we're pleased to be joined by Kevin Sproles. Kevin is founder and CEO of Volusion, a hosted e-commerce shopping cart that he launched in 1999. Kevin has seen thousands of e-commerce firms over the years, and in fact his own firm of Volusion now has over 10,000 clients. These clients include such notable sites as Disney and Crutchfield. Kevin is an e-commerce pioneer, and we are pleased to be joined by Kevin Sproles today. Kevin, welcome.
Thanks for having me today. It's a pleasure to be here.
Sure. Kevin, tell us why some e-commerce sites excel and why others don't.
Well, there's really a lot of reasons that some sites outperform others. There's quite a few, but I've really drilled down into what I think are probably your top 5 things that contribute to either your success or your failure as an online business. And really, one of them is your building your brand. A survey conducted by Harris Interactive last month showed that 92% of online shoppers say that brand is at least somewhat important to initially attracting them to an online shopping website. So, well, if you're a small business, you probably don't have household name, but really that doesn't matter because you could build the same trust associated with a household name or a strong brand by having things like a professional website with a nice logo, but most importantly, taking it a step further and starting to tell your story, telling how you got started, telling your passion for the products that you sell, and really encouraging customer service and that encouraging people to call you and communicate with you and show that you're a real person behind the business. So as a small business, you could still compete with household names.
So brands would be the first one. What are the other 4?
The other 4 would be things like SEO, making sure that you take advantage of that free marketing that's offered by Google and the other search engines to send customers to your website. If you optimize your website for those search engines, really that's the best ROI that you can get probably from any marketing strategy. It's really not that difficult to set up your site to be SEO friendly, setting it up with the right meta tags and so forth. The other few are giving a lot of detail in your product photos and your product information to build the trust that the product that you're selling is the product that the customer is looking for. So being very detailed with that description and photo. Another one is having a high margin on the inventory that you do sell will give you more opportunities to leverage advertising that's out there. So you want to make sure that it's really back to the core, your core business model, but it's something that could be overlooked that I think is important. And then the next one is differentiating yourself if you are a commodity, and really leveraging the power of niche selling.
Interesting. So that would be brand, SEO, attractive and effective photos, higher margin products, and leveraging niches. Those are some of the key points that you've seen.
Absolutely.
Can you tell us, Kevin, some specific examples of smaller firms that you think in particular do a really good job with that?
Yeah, let me see. One of our clients actually does a great job at this. It's thelittlehatcompany.com.
Thelittlehatcompany.com.
You could tell, I mean, they're a small business, but they really leverage a lot of these key points that I think are important. For example, their website does a great job at point number one, the brand building through their design and really telling their story. And really just in that regard, they do a good job trying to show the person behind the business, their passion for the business, and really they do a good job displaying their products as well, with like real life scenarios. For example, they sell hats for kids, and so they show a lot of pictures of, happy kids wearing hats, and that goes beyond just showing your product, like for example just the hat. They really try to build their story, build the emotion, and really create a unique website in the end.
That's interesting. That's the littlehatcompany.com.
Yes.
Okay. Kevin, you could say that your own firm is a high-performing firm, Volusion.com. Tell us a little bit about Volusion. When did you start it? Tell us how it's evolved over the years.
Sure. I started when I was only 16 years old. I was still in high school, just kind of after-school project, building websites. It's always been my hobby and my passion, so just started building websites one after the other. And eventually I saw a big need for e-commerce. So, from that time I started building what today is Volusion. We have over 10,000 online stores that use our software to build and run their entire online business.
How much is Volusion? What does it cost for our listeners? Our listeners, of course, are smaller e-commerce merchants. It's a hosted solution. Tell us what the pricing model is for Volusion.
It's really quite affordable. It starts with, of course, a free 14-day trial, and then our lower plans start at only $29 a month. And for that $29 a month, you have pretty much all of the features you need to build and run your entire online business. Everything from the design tools to free templates that we offer, to managing the content on your website, to being search engine optimized, to processing those orders. We have the full solution really is $29 a month. And then as you have potentially large inventories of, for example, 100,000 products, then it ranges up to about $197 per month.
Okay. That's Volusion.com, by the way, for our listeners. Kevin, let's look towards the future briefly. What will e-commerce look like in 5 years? What sort of tools will merchants be employing 5 years from now? What will a high-performing site look like 5 years from now? Will it look substantially different than what it is now?
I think the websites themselves will not look too different, but what you're going to see is that the ease of use is going to be improved, and the challenges of shopping online will be eliminated, and so checking out will be easy. And then what you're also going to see is just the way people find these websites and these products will change a bit. For example, social networking is currently a growing trend. There's communities online that are growing that we all know about, such as MySpace and Facebook, where people are communicating about products and services that they're interested in. For example, clothing brands that people have a lot of interest in, they communicate about that. They're interested in the new products when they come out. And so you're going to start to see a little bit more of a trend of communities building and influencing the purchasing of products online.
It's interesting. In our last couple of minutes here, Kevin, tell us any other thoughts that you have for our listeners, smaller e-commerce merchants, managers, anything else on your mind relative to e-commerce?
Well, really, I would say that in addition to, I guess, the things that I've already mentioned, there are some things that you should always be aware of that sometimes aren't as exciting as telling your story and building your website, and that comes down to things like the scalability of the platform that you choose to host your website on. If everybody starts small, I started small, but as you grow, you're going to start to care about things like scalability. So picking the right platform is going to be important. Another thing is PCI compliance. That's something that's important in the e-commerce industry specifically. So you want to make sure that your website is as secure as it can be, so that you basically, for one, you have to be compliant for Visa and MasterCard rules, and secondly, for the safety of your business, you want to be PCI compliant, and that's something that, those are two things that Volusion helps with, and something to be aware of.
Okay. Well, again, for our listeners, if you're listeners interested in Kevin's firm, it's Volusion.com. And Kevin Sproles, the founder and CEO of Volusion, we want to thank you for your time today, sir.
Thanks for having me.
That's all the time we have for this week's e-commerce conversation. I hope you enjoyed it. Please tune in next week for another new episode.